Introduction to the Imperial System. The Imperial System units are an irregularly standardized system of units that have been used in the United Kingdom and its former colonies, including the United States and Commonwealth countries. Canada formally adopted the modern metric system in 1970. Today, the imperial units are widely used only in the United States under the name of the U.S. customary units. However, we still refer to some of those imperial system units in Canada, especially when we're looking at building materials and when we are thinking about height as well. So the units of length, so the main units of length in the imperial system are from largest to smallest, a mile, a yard, a feet, and in inches. If you are a runner, you may notice that some of the distances for marathons and half marathons are expressed in miles as well. So there is another way to express feet and inches. For example, if you are 5 feet 10 inches tall, you can express this as 5 with an apostrophe and then 10 with a quotation mark. So those are just the symbols that are used to represent feet and inches. So we're going to use the conversion sheet that is referenced in this lesson to help us with the following conversions. So the way that it works is that if we are trying to convert from a unit to another unit within the imperial system, we want to find the appropriate chart on our conversion table. So we are now converting 8 yards to feet. So we're going to go along the left-hand side of the chart that uses the lengths. So we are going to find yards along this left-hand side, and we are going to convert it to feet. So it tells us that if I'm going from yards to feet, I need to multiply by 3. So I'm going to take my measurement and I'm going to do 8, because that's how many yards I'm starting with, and timesing it by 3. And 8 times 3 gives us 24 feet. The next one is 6 miles, and I'm converting it to yards. So when I'm going from miles to yards, if I look at the chart, I want to multiply by 1,760. Now, some of these you can do in your head, obviously, but others you won't be able to. So don't feel shame in using a calculator if you need to, okay? You can do it long multiplication if that's something that is appealing to you right now, but you don't have to. So 6 times 1760 is equal to 10,560 yards. The next conversion looks at going from yards to inches. And again, if I look at my conversion table, in order to convert from yards to inches, I want to multiply by 36. So 9 times 36 gives us 324. You're going to follow a same pattern to finish all of the other ones up. So sometimes we'll be multiplying. So if we are going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we'll be multiplying. But if we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, then we're going to be dividing. So for example, if we're converting from 72 inches into feet, inches are smaller than feet, so this is where I'm going to divide. So again, if I look at my conversion chart, I need to divide by 12 to go from inches to feet, and 72 divided by 12 gives us 6. 27 feet to yards. To go from feet to yards, I need to divide by 3. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. So 27 feet is the same as 9 yards. Feet to inches, I want to multiply by 12. 14 times 12 gives us 168. "18 feet to inches." So same calculation as we did in that last example. I want to multiply by 12, and 18 times 12 gives us 216. Yards to miles. If I look at my conversion chart, to go from yards to miles, I need to divide, and I'm dividing by 1,760. So you'll notice when we went from miles to yards, we multiplied by that same number. When we go the opposite direction, we're going to be dividing. So 10,560 divided by 1,760 is equivalent to 6 miles. And the last one that we're going to look at in terms of units of length is yards to inches. So yards to inches, when I look at my conversion chart, we've done one similar to that, is timesing by 36. So I have 2.5 times 36 gives me a total of 90 inches. So using the conversion charts is an easy way to do those basic conversions within the imperial system. So now we're going to look at units of weights. The basic units of weights within the imperial system are a ton, pounds, and ounces. So when a baby is born, for example, you usually express their weight in terms of the amount of pounds and ounces they are. So even though we are in Canada, we still express a baby's weight as like 7 pounds, 6 ounces, for example. So we're going to use these conversions using the same similar method. So we're going to use the conversion chart to go from different units of weights within the imperial system. So same thing, you want to find the unit that you are converting from along the left-hand side of that chart, and you're going to find the unit you're converting to along the top, and then find that either multiplication or division that you're going to be calculating from. So 8 pounds, 2 ounces, that shows us that I need to multiply by 16. There are 16 ounces in each pound. That's why we are doing that conversion. So 8 times 16 is 128. To go from ounces to pounds, we're going to now divide by 16. And 80 divided by 16 gives us 5. To go from a ton to a pound, we want to multiply by 2,000. There are 2,000 pounds in each imperial ton. So I'm going to take 0.5 times 2,000, and that gives me 1,000. So half a pound is the same as 1,000 pounds. To go from pounds to ounces, we did that one up here as well. So we want to multiply by 16. So 16 times 16, or 16 squared, is 256. Ounces to pounds, again, we've done one similar to that. We're going to divide by 16. So 1,152 divided by 16 gives us 72 pounds. And the last one we're going to do is going from pounds to tons. So when I look at that conversion, I want to divide by 2,000. And 5,000 divided by 2,000 is 2.5 tons. So the conversion charts are going to be very helpful for you. You may want to consider printing this out and so that you can refer to it as you work through the questions in this unit. The next thing that we're going to look at is units of capacity. So capacity is looking at volume. So the main units for measuring capacity within the imperial system are gallons, quarts, pints, cups, fluid ounces, tablespoons, and teaspoons. So you may recognize the bottom four if you're doing any sort of cooking. So again, even though we live in Canada and we primarily use the metric system, a lot of our recipes, a lot of our building materials, a lot of our weights are referred to still within the imperial system. So it's very helpful to understand what the conversions are so that we can go through our lives easily, okay? So again, we're going to use the same conversion chart. So when we look at our chart for in terms of capacity, again, same strategy. We want to find the unit that we are converting from along the left-hand side of the chart, and we are finding the unit that we're going to along the top, and then finding that appropriate conversion. So whether we're multiplying or dividing. So if I want to go from cups to quarts, if I look at my chart, to go from cups to quarts, I need to divide by 4. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. So 24 cups is the same as 6 quarts. To go from quarts to pints, I want to multiply by 2. And 5 times 2 gives us 10. So 5 quarts is the same as 10 pints. Sometimes you'll be given measurements that involve more than one unit. So if we are going from, for example, 9 quarts and 1 pint into pints, it's helpful to convert our larger amount into the amount of smaller units. So if I want to, in this example, convert my 9 quarts into pints first. So if I go from quarts to pints, I multiply by 2. So this is the same as 18 pints. And so 18 plus 1 gives me 19. So 9 quarts and 1 pint is the same as 19 pints. So that's a strategy that you can use if you are given a measurement that has more than one unit. So for example, if you're given one with involving a height, so 5 feet 6 inches, you would convert those feet into inches first, add those to the original 6 inches, and that'll give you how many inches it's going to be. All right, the next one is cups into fluid ounces. So when I look at that measurement, it shows me that I need to multiply by 8. And 4.5 times 8 gives us 36 fluid ounces. Gallons to quarts shows us from the chart that we have to multiply by 4. So 5 times 4 gives us 20. So 5 gallons is the same as 20 quarts. 96 teaspoons into cups. So if I look at my chart again, teaspoons to cups shows us that we need to divide by 48. And 96 divided by 48 gives us 2. So there are 96 teaspoons in 2 cups. From fluid ounces to tablespoons, when I look at that measurement, it shows us that we need to multiply by 2. And 4 times 2 gives us 8. So there are 8 tablespoons in 4 fluid ounces. Tablespoons to teaspoons. When I'm looking at my chart, it shows us that we need to multiply by 3, and 18 times 3 gives us 54. Cups to tablespoons. There are 16 tablespoons in each cup. So I have to take my 5, multiply it by 16, and that gives me 80. And lastly, 12 teaspoons to tablespoons. I want to divide by 3, and 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. So there are 4 tablespoons in 12 teaspoons. And that is just one of the strategies that you can use to convert within the imperial system, and I hope you find that helpful.